Aren't screaming. Today was the last day of school and everybody just got home.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So they're all excited.
Yeah, everybody's excited and they're really loud and it's insane. But now I'm in a different room. Hold on. And my house is a wreck, so I don't know where to go. Here I am.
Gosh.
Hi.
You're good. Hi.
Yes. So I want to build the virtual business card with the Linktree fashion, and it links to a landing page and also the referral and the rewards.
Nice. And you're going to use QR codes, right?
Yeah. And I built one today and I sent it over to the cleaning business that I'm working with now, and I'm hoping to get their feedback.
Awesome.
And I kind of feel like the cleaning business that I work with right now, and I really love them. And, but I kind of feel like she's a unicorn a little bit. And the fact that she's just grown her business to such a huge size with pen and paper. And I think a lot of these women with the cleaning businesses use pen and paper, and where we are at the Texas border, there's everybody's mostly Spanish speaking. And so that's a problem for these women, and being able to use tech, they don't feel like their girls can do it. And so like they know that the front of the company needs to have digital stuff, and they're aware of that. But how I incorporate that with how they function day to day, which is where most of their pain points are, I'm having a hard time marrying the two. And so I built the website for her, and I integrated Jobber with it, and we were doing a get a quote. And that's part of what I put on her little V card, and it all makes sense. Sorry, my rambling. Is this too much?
No, you're good. You're good.
But I'm gonna bring this all together to what the offer thing that I'm filling out, the paperwork you gave us yesterday. So when I'm talking about their pain points, really, I mean, they all want to grow their business. And the potential out here is huge. Everybody has cleaning companies. Facebook groups are huge. Everybody's very interactive in these Facebook groups in the community, and everybody just posts a picture of their little business card.
Yeah.
And so this seems like an obvious thing, but like when I'm going through your offer workbook and you're talking about their pain points, it's like, yeah, they want to grow their business and all those things would be great. But the real pain point is them managing their staff. It's always when you have a staff it's cash flow, and the people working for you is the biggest pain in the butt. So I'm trying to find a way to like marry the two together. But like I have this woman set up with Jobber, and I really like that. And she keeps trying to find a way to not do it. She is just so married to the pen and paper part of it.
Well,
so
just
that's
habits.
Yeah.
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 Awesome.
So that's where I'm at.
So then this is perfect. I think that we've laid this week out so well, because you can keep carving out your offer. Today, Jason's going to talk about content. So now while you're going through this training today, and then when you take, our workbooks and stuff like that we're going to give out, really think about then how you can show her specifically what the outcome would be if she just did, right? Like, can you show what that looks like, right?
Yeah.
A little bit more of that type of content, I think would be really good. Yeah. And I love the digital business card. I think it's such a huge aha thing. What have they been doing all along that they're just used to, and they just have never thought like, holy shit, I can actually do that. Like, that's possible.
Well, also they're already doing it, so I don't have to change a habit for them. Now it's like, just post this instead, and it's going to do all of these things, and that's going to make complete, and it's affordable, and it's a really great way for me to step up to all the other things that they want to do. And so I'm really excited. And not to mention, it was so freaking easy for me to do.
Good for you. That's awesome. Well,
so it's repeatable.
There you go.
Yes.
Like, there's a home run right there. And then it's so easy to be like, okay, Do you want to change your QR code on there to an offer? We could drive some traffic. That package is $1,200 a month, whatever, right? Like it's
Yeah.
so easy once you've got that first piece set up, and then they trust you and they trust technology,
Yeah,
right?
I think it's about making them trust the technology because they don't. They don't.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
I remember what that was like as a hairstylist. I wrote a post about that a little while ago, like a pen and not even a pen, an eraser and an appointment, a pencil and an appointment book. And like, God forbid something spilt on that book or whatever. That's all bad. Or like if the place burnt down or whatever, like you had zero backup of that one book of like 10 stylists, their entire lives were in there. That's how we did payroll. That's how we did everything, right? So to switch over to technology is super scary. Like, I don't know why. It just is. Yeah.
It is scary. I mean, I was bartending on a banger cash register. All we had was cash forever. But there
Yeah.
are hiccups that go with it. And so, I mean, like when you relate it like that, and I think back what it was like when we switched all of our restaurants over, because at first there were different phases of technology, and
Yeah.
cloud-based is totally different than what we were doing 10 years ago. But I do think maybe one of the girls that I was talking to, because it's her cleaning service and then her manager that I work with, and she said, well, what if something goes wrong? And I said, well, something is going to go wrong.
Yeah.
It's technology and things do mess up. And when this happens, then we do this. And then
Yeah.
she felt better when I addressed it. So I'm wondering if me coming in and just being like, oh, it's all going to save the day, and more so being like, these, I don't know, but I think you can see where I'm going with it. But just being
Yeah.
like, yes, there are problems that come along with it, but you're never going to outgrow the size that you're in without it, period. Because
That's
unless you
right.
can learn how to multiply yourself, you're going to hit a threshold.
Yeah. And I think these days when we're speaking with businesses, adopting technology, the ones that don't, they're going to get lost very quickly now, right? And we haven't even touched on AI and all of that other stuff, but I mean, the businesses that learn how to adopt those tools and use them, to their advantage,
Totally.
they're gonna outlast the ones that aren't now, right? People are just online.
Well, it's all about that. It's all about that. And even with everything with AI and everything that's coming in, the people who are going to embrace it and actually use it are the people who are going to continue to stand out.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
with all of our tools and whatever you're doing, right? So even just the people who are willing to build their brand, people are willing to build their brand and stand out are the people who are going to continue moving forward. It's just the way things are. Of course you can do things behind the scenes and whatever, but I mean, if you take a look at some of the people who are really killing it in the marketing space and everything, they're willing to stand out, right? They're willing to be present and show people who they are and what they're doing.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And it's just embracing content and just embracing the way things are done instead of sticking to the pad and paper, because it's so easy to do that and think, but then you're running in circles all the time. So today we're going to get back to the pen and paper. Just to create some content. So one of the things about building your brand locally and building on this framework that we have for the AIM method is attention, right? What we want to do is start creating some content that is going to get in the face of the customers that we want to get in front of, right? So we can ultimately use it for creating content. We can use it for creating ads. We can use it for posting in social media. We can use it as an email follow-up. There's a great tip that I heard the other day that I haven't tried it yet, but the guy was like, hey, after you get off a meeting with somebody, go to Loom, record a video, and then send that video as a recap and a thank you to that person that you just had a meeting with, as a personalized message, right? And do that for every meeting. I thought that was really, really interesting and probably a really good tip to go do, and then recap. And then, you know, I was just in a mastermind call with a bunch of other high level agencies who are doing fairly well. And one of the tips that they had there was, oh, what was it? It just slipped my mind. Creating content, doing the video thing. Oh yeah. Before somebody goes to renew their payment for the month, just to keep things sticky, send them an email on monthly that's going to go out, you know, 2 or 3 days before their bill is due, and remind them of all the reasons why they signed up. Remind them of the pain points that you're solving. Remind them of the pain points that they had before signing up, and remind them of where they're at, kind of thing. So a really good idea. So then when they're actually going through, because as an agency, you're going to get churn, right? Especially as a SaaS agency offering software, doing this kind of stuff, you're going to get churn. Customers are going to go at the end of the month, and if they're having a tougher month for some reason, they're going to take a look at their expenses and where things are going out, and then they're going to make a decision on what they're going to cut. But if you can hit them up with a really good email, with really good content before, right when they're about to pay that bill, you have a really good chance of getting them to stick around, because you're reminding them of those pain points and those frustrations that you're solving for them. So just a really cool tip that came out of our mastermind call that I was in this morning. So happy to pass that on. So let's talk about the AIM method. I don't have a visual for the AIM method right now, but let's talk about it. So 3 pieces to the AIM method, and this is something that we came up with years ago, probably a good 7 or 8 years ago, and we used it for driving all of our content, driving all of our traffic. And there was a couple years afterwards, I think it was like 2020, 2021, Frank Kern actually came out with his whole how you run ads and how you do that. And we looked at it and we're like, that's the exact system that we already use. So it was really cool to get confirmation about this AIM method that we came up with. He called it something completely else. He called it like intent-based branding or something like that, having the intention. But that's exactly what we're doing with this is, we're creating content that is going to attract our customers, something that they're interested in, right? Something that is going to grab their attention so that they'll watch the video. And the only thing that we really want them to do with that first video, that first piece of content, is we don't even necessarily have to have a call to action in it. We just want to make sure that they're watching it. We want to make sure that they watch that video from start to finish. And Shan's going to show you at some point here on how to create an ad that you can track how much they watch, what percentage, and then be able to retarget those customers. And then when they retarget those customers, what's going to happen after that is when we retarget, then we're going to move into the interest pieces, the influence, where we're talking to them more about the problems and frustrations that they have and how we can solve them. And then when they watch that video, we know that they're pretty invested, so that we can hit them with the marketing monetize videos. And that's where we have way more call to actions, where we're getting them to place calls, where we're getting the fill out forms, you know, whether it's a lead form or whatever you're bringing into high level, doing things like that. So do you want to talk, Shan, real quickly about like what you usually would run for the attraction?
Okay, so yeah, I would be happy to. And then yeah, on Friday, that is our marketing, like AIM, right? Attract, attention, it's that type of content. It's usually for cold traffic. It's like the initial meeting online that you have with your perfect customer, with your audience, okay? So then the I, interest, also, we build an invisible list. So what we do is we will run a bunch of content. Doesn't need to be video. Video obviously is doing really, really well these days, and I don't think that's going to change. But it could also be a really long piece of written content as well. That's fine. depends who your audience is and what your offer is and what you're selling, right? So as an example, we ran ads in the fitness space for a really long time. Really good example of that is, you run a video of a fitness class, right? A packed class, okay? So even if you're targeting fitness studio owners, that would pique interest to them, right? A busy looking gym, a busy looking yoga studio, whatever that is, happy members lined up to get into a class, content like that, right? That's cold traffic, that's organic, that's, inside of Facebook groups, on your personal profiles, your business profiles, whatever. Then what you would do is you would retarget. If we're running ads, you can retarget people who have, shown interest in that first piece of content and build an invisible list based on that data. And then retarget with another piece of interesting content that will really add authority, right? Maybe it's a testimonial, maybe it's like a tip, a piece of like educational content, possibly something like that. And then the marketing, the monetize, that's where you pull all that together and retarget and ask for a sale or tell them that you've got something for sale, right? And it's funny because a lot of businesses don't do that third piece. They rarely will like ask for, if you go look, if you're in the hair industry, if you go look at, for instance, all of their Instagram accounts, all it is pictures of hair that they do. They very rarely will post, did you know we sell this product? Or did you know that you can book a color and cut for X amount of dollars? Another really good piece of content in that middle section, in the interest, investigative type section there in the second step is like a location video, like showing people where the place is.
Yeah, that makes me think a big thing about Mark with the caravans too, like going out to one of those locations, recording some video of empty spots, or whatever, standing around in there. You see a lot of videos with that work really well as ads, is you're out in front of a business that is a type of business that your customers have. So if you're at a restaurant, being like, hey, I'm standing here in front of a restaurant talking about that'll grab people's attention. If you said, hey, restaurant owners, and you're in front of a restaurant talking about it, like, hey, we just help these guys get blah, blah, blah customers and fill empty seats. If you want to chat about how we can do that for you, we'll
that's
talk about
right.
that.
So that would be your A content. If we're talking about restaurants, that would be your A content, under the I interest, it would be content around like maybe showing what the system looks like maybe showing, creating a video around what the system actually looks like. What does it look like to get plugged into this system? A customer scanning a QR code and becoming a part of a VIP list, and a restaurant owner being able to quickly send out a message to their list that they've got a lunch special going on today, right? That would be under the interest category. Stats about like loyalty, stats about loyalty programs, stats about Google reviews, all of those different pieces of like business educational type content is in the middle. And then M, right, is always the marketing. Hey, we've got this one package. Do you want a digital business card? It's this much. Like book a call, right? Book a call now and we'll do a free strategy session for your business or whatever that may be. Yeah.
So let's talk about A today. Let's get back in there. I've got a really good framework I'm going to show you guys, and I had to look up the guy's name here again. I forget what it was. It was Ofer Breyer. And he was actually a very, very interesting guy. It was a course that I took years ago, and I'm actually going through it again because I just loved it so much. And it was called Advanced Learning and Teaching. And part of the things that we're doing here is we're educating customers because you know, when you're creating content, some of the content you want to create is educational, informative, entertaining, you know, something that's going to help them, something that's going to grab their attention, especially when business owners are getting to a point where, you know they need some help, but they don't know who to turn to. That's a big thing that's out there, is people don't want to spend the time when they're already busy to reach out and try to find somebody to help them, especially when they don't know what they're looking for. When they don't know exactly what they need, they know they need more customers. They think that they need to do social media, but to be like, hey, I want to go and hire a social media agency or marketing agency to help me with this. I don't know who to reach out to. They don't want to spend the time to go and do research, to go and find that business that's going to help them, right? So that's where we're creating the content. That's where we're going to be running some ads. That's where we're doing the stuff like that to get out in front of them so they don't have to go out and find us. We're already there. We're in front of them. We're showing up. We're talking to them about the problems and frustrations that they already have. So Overbriar had a really good framework, which I've used a ton of times for creating content. Now, his original content that he created was for how to write a book in 12 hours. Really, really cool. It was a really good system. He actually developed a system. He lives in, I think he's in Israel or something like that, but he developed a system where he could teach people to play the piano really, really quickly. He could teach people how to learn and how to learn and how to develop a talent in pretty much anything that you could conceive of, anything that you wanted to do really, really quickly by following his system. And now he's got tons of books that he's written. He actually had his kids writing books from a young age as well, because the whole idea was, we're going to use this framework to write a book about a topic that you're interested in. And then, you can use that either for SOPs for your work or for whatever it is. You can use it for marketing. You can use it for whatever. But I scaled it down a little bit, and I'm going to run through how you can use this framework to generate 54 pieces of content, outline 54 pieces of content that your customers are going to find really interesting. And you can use this for any niche. You just follow this framework. And Chandel and I have literally just like, you know, those big folded pieces of paper that you like, it's like not a whiteboard, but a presentation board, and you just keep flipping papers. We literally have like those filled with these things, because we'll go and we'll sit down and be like, okay, what kind of content? Like if we're talking to restaurants about these things, what are 6 things that we want them to know? Here, I'll share my screen here. What are 6 things, or what are 6 categories that we can talk to them about that we want them to know? And then we can go through and fill out. So I'm just going to break this down to 3. So if you did 6, you'd end up with about 108 pieces of content, which is going to fuel you for a long time. And you could use that for blog posts. You can use that for social media posts. You can use that for creating videos. And then I included another little framework at the bottom here, the AIDA framework, which I'll cover really quickly.
Yeah, I love that.
Which is just going to bring it all together, right? It's going to help you structure each one of those pieces of content.
One quick thing, once you fill in a framework like this, you guys, you can also very easily plug that into ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And get even more content out of it. So those are all things that we plan on touching on moving forward too. But I think this is going to be awesome. Are you guys excited?
I was actually playing around with ChatGPT this morning to see what would be a good prompt to get some of this content created after we come up with our sections. So, I mean, you can, again, obviously you can go into ChatGPT and you can get them to do a couple things, but here we're going to do some brain power, write some things down. And, you know, it doesn't hurt to go into to AI and ask for some suggestions. sections too. So the key
You know
for
what?
this,
Actually, Jay, sorry. I'm going to put a link to this document in chat for everybody right now.
that
So you go ahead and I will do that. I just need to find it here.
did you,
Okay.
I can do it right now.
I got it right here. I got it.
I'll
You
make
go
it, I'll
ahead.
make it so it's not restricted. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so first thing we want to start off with is think about your niche. I know we created our 100 customers. We have an idea about that. We talked about what are their pain points, what are their frustrations, what are their fears. You came up with some offer ideas about what you want to offer those customers, right? You're kind of delving more into who they are and what they want and what they need, what's keeping them up at night, what emotionally is bothering them, what is making them frustrated. So then we could go into and say, okay, hey, if we were going to create if we're going to write a book, let's just say that for a second. If we're going to write a book for our niche and it was going to have 3 main sections in it, part 1, part 2, part 3, what would those 3 sections be? Okay. And you can think about that. It could be really for any niche you want. This will work. This is just a generic framework. So for example, I took restaurants. So if I were to write a book about helping restaurants build a better marketing system, then the 3 main sections I would have are: 1 is getting new customers, 2, getting customers to come back more often, and 3, getting customers to spend more money. So those are, and I'm tying this obviously directly into what we're selling. I'm tying this into our restaurant marketing system because that's what we're out selling, right? So then I know that I'm creating content that is around the system that we're selling, but hopefully I can use that to change the mind or pique the interest of the restaurants that we're talking to, because these are some of the things that they're not doing. So these are our 3 main sections: getting new customers, getting customers to come back more often, and then getting customers to spend more money. Now, after we have those 3 sections, okay, we're going to break that up into 3 subcategories. Okay, so here we would have in number 1, we would put getting new customers. Number 2 here, we would put getting customers come back more often. And number 3, we would say getting customers to spend more money. So if we're doing an example here of breaking up getting new customers can be broken down into these 3 sections, these 3 subcategories. There we go. 1 could be filling seats using social media. Number 2 could be filling seats from using referrals. And then number 3 could be, 1 could be organic social media, 1 could be from referrals, and 1 could be from paid advertising. I know that our system is going to handle each one of those 3 things. So we're going to drop them in here. Now we're going to do the exact same thing that we did for getting new customers here, and we're going to do that for the other 2 topics as well. So getting customers to come back more often, how can we break that into 3 different things? Getting customers to spend more money, we put that here. What are we going to break that into 3 subcategories there? So
Are you going to do it? Are you going to do it?
Well, I just did one example here. So if you want me to, I could. So getting customers to come back more often. I didn't want to do it getting customers to come back more often. I could probably do a way that makes actual lines properly. So getting customers to come back more often. Loyalty, like we could talk about loyalty cards, loyalty system, VIP,
like a list that you can
program,
like text
using SMS, or VIP program using SMS.
And like an automated follow-up
system and points. And then we could talk, let's say automated follow-up. You could also do this could also be like social media advertising. in
Mhm.
here as well, right? Getting customers to come back more often, the more they see your branding and your content out there, the more likely they're going to come back, right? Actually, you know what? I'm going to change this.
I
I'm
think there
gonna
should
change
also
this
be
into the yeah, you know what? Let's just leave that. So that's just an example here. Let's talk about that. Does that make sense
yeah.
so far? Are you guys following around? Does this make sense?
Courtney, yes, webinars still work 100%. That's something we're going to talk about on Friday. I really firmly believe that like a really good, exactly, a really good webinar, you can easily sell to whatever
So
audience you want.
what I would change, for doing a webinar is you want to break a webinar down into like epiphany
Three.
moments.
Yeah. Well,
What's
three things that lead to that epiphany.
what are three things that um your customer believes to be true that is not true? What are
Yeah.
three things that they believe to be true that you can poke holes in and make them question whether they're doing things properly? Right?
Yeah.
That's the whole key about doing webinars is, I mean, you could do a workshop too, complete different thing, but doing a webinar, the idea about that is like, hey, this is what you think is happening. Here's what's really happening. And then they're
Yeah.
like, oh, I didn't know that, right? And then, oh, here's what you think is happening. Here's what's really happening. Here's what you think
Yeah.
is happening. Here's what's really happening. Now, here's how our system is going to help you with that. Now, you don't have to go into a full webinar system. I feel like, yes, webinars will work. There might be faster ways to get out there. It doesn't hurt you to put together a presentation about it. You could probably whip one
Yeah.
up in like a day or so,
Like a
and
video on a
talk about
sales
things.
page, like a really
Yeah.
good video script, and then putting that on a sales page that speaks directly to this one customer. And just driving traffic to that, retargeting all of your, running the right content, creating
Yeah.
the first initial content, and then just driving people to something like that would be great. Yeah.
Yeah, I can add that to the document as a tip for doing webinars for sure. Okay. So let's just jump back to this really quickly. Okay, now we've gone through our three things and we've created our subcategories. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to break each one of these subcategories down into 6 pieces of content. Okay. I like doing this part. So now you've gone
It's so
through and
fun.
create your 3 subcategories for each section. You'll break it down further into 6 topics you can create content around. 3 of the pieces of content are going to be things that they should do, and 3 things should be don't do. 3 things should be things that don't do this. Just to kind of give you some variation so you're not creating the same kind of content over and over again. So, for example, here's our main category. Are getting more customers is our top tier. Filling seats using paid advertising is going to be our middle tier. And now we're going to break this up into 6 pieces of content. So advertise on Facebook and Instagram using customer testimonials. Create a video or a piece of content about why restaurants or your, for example, I'm putting in here, why restaurants should be using testimonials to get more customers through the door. Right? If you're not using testimonials, 99% of them are not using testimonials. If we said, hey, we can help you get testimonials, and if we can use testimonials from that, you're going to drive more traffic, you're going to get more customers in, because word of mouth is a powerful thing. Social proof is a powerful thing.
That's
right.
So top ways to get testimonials, like this is where the reward system would really come into play too, right?
Totally. Absolutely. So, I mean, even if you wanted to tie this into doing Google reviews, anything like that, to get more customers come in. Run ads targeting your local area, promoting amazing food pictures and videos. This is an obvious one. You would think, hey, everybody would be doing it. But if you're looking online, I could name maybe 2 restaurants out of the, 150 restaurants in this city who are actually running ads, just showing some pictures of their food. They think, hey, if we're just running ads, if we're posting on Instagram, then that's good enough, right? That's, oh, we're posting on Instagram. We got somebody doing social media, but they're not doing anything to get out there and get in front of new people. They're just in front of the people who already know they exist, you know? So, so that's an example of those ones. Things they shouldn't do. Stop relying on word of mouth. You know, if you want to go slow, rely on word of mouth. If you need customers now, run these 3 simple ad types or something like that, you know, and then you can create a video about that. Stop boosting posts. Boosting posts is a waste of money. You don't get any analytics, you know, and then run these simple ads with great content. So you can actually put call to actions in here too, right? So you can go through each one of, yeah, you basically go through, make your main categories, break it up into, you have your main categories, break that into subcategories. Now you're going to take each one of these pieces and break that up into 6 pieces of content. But did I skip number 3 for the do's? I didn't do number 3. No. Create a no-brainer loss leader offer to get customers to try you out. I think this is like an epiphany type thing for restaurants, because there's so many stingy people out there and they don't want to give something away or give something at a significant discount to get that customer on a list, because they think that they're just giving stuff away for free and that customer isn't going to come back. But what if we talked about lifetime value of a customer?
That's key.
Right? Would you give away a $5 basket of nachos for
$6,000
for a $5,995 return?
Right. There we go. That's a great, babe. You're so good at writing content. Oh my gosh. I don't know if this is a good time to talk about this or not, but just really quickly about offers, you guys.
You know,
it's
yeah.
so important. I actually feel like I'm firing a client right now because she has this business that's like a brand new type of a business. It's like a dog treadmill in a van. Okay, like she spent thousands of dollars on this van and the branding on the van, and then she put this like slat mill thing in it, and she exercises dogs.
Yeah,
it's a very new service, right? Like, have you guys ever heard of this thing? No.
I've seen a few ads for other businesses in the US that are running ads for it.
So this is actually in the UK. Mark, I wonder if you've been
I thought you said it was in Australia.
Sorry, Australia. So, okay. So she doesn't want to do an initial offer. And she's not getting leads. She's getting tons of website traffic. But nobody is jumping at it. First of all, I think people feel lazy getting somebody else to exercise their dog for them, right? Whatever. Long story short, I finally said to her last night, like, listen, unless you're willing to create some kind of a package, like book your first one free or some kind of a crazy offer like that, people are not going to jump on this. Like for no reason.
Yeah. So let's talk really quickly. Courtney said, what is a loss leader? A loss leader is something the business is willing to break even on or lose a little bit of money on in order to get that customer in. Like, think about it when you go to a grocery store and they have the rotisserie chickens there. You can buy a rotisserie chicken here you can buy one pre-cooked, $10. You get a rotisserie chicken, buns, fries, whatever with that. They don't make any money on that. If you were to go buy the chicken itself from their deli section, or like raw, it costs more money for the chicken if uncooked, right? So they get you in to come in and buy that chicken. They lose money on it. but they know that you're going to spend another $150, $200 on groceries. Think
That's
about
right.
Costco, right? They
The
don't
hot
make
dog at
they don't
Costco.
make money on $1.50 hot dog and pop,
Yeah.
but they know people love it and they're going to come in just for that. They give you a giant ice cream for like $1.50 or something like that. They're not making money on those things,
Yeah.
but it's just to get customers to come in and spend money. Yeah, I will give you a $1.50 hot dog in exchange for you spending $350 today
Yeah.
in our store, right?
Yeah.
I will give away a $5 basket of nachos if you're going to come in and spend $150 on your meal for the night. You're
Yeah.
going to come in and buy 4 pints of beer at $9 a piece. Gladly we'll lose $2 on the nachos, and we'll make $37 on the beer,
That's
kind of
right.
thing.
In the
So
fitness space, let's just touch on a couple of other niches quickly. In the fitness space, we would do what the loss leader was there when a studio was opening, first full week of classes for free. We called it Karma Week. Pack every single class for free, wait list, you create a FOMO, sense of urgency. It's a no-brainer. And it's terrifying for a studio owner who's just dumped like hundreds of thousands of dollars into building
like
this
three or
thing, and
four
they're
hundred
not
thousand
making any
dollars into
money
building this.
yet.
Yeah.
But you end up with a list of like, what, 3,000, 4,000 people that you can now send an offer to, right?
Well, you end up with completely booked classes where people come and try the thing out for free,
Yeah.
and
And
you
there's
have
hype.
and you have people there selling them on signing up for a package, right? It's doing all that follow up so that are doing that there. So you're going to get a bunch of people signing up for it. You're also going to get a bunch of people who came in, liked it, don't know if they want to sign up yet, but then you're hitting them with a bunch of marketing afterwards
Yeah.
to retarget them, right? This is going away. Okay, you didn't sign up that day. You've got 5 more days. Okay, that's going away. Now we've got one more offer that we're offering you, kind of thing. And doing that. So
Any business that can like offers are so key. What else you got there, Jay?
Okay, so I did write a couple little tips down here. Think about what your customer is doing now. Good reason to have your customer avatar done and have your list of 100 clients done as well. Just think about what they're doing now and what should change, what could change with those businesses, right? A lot of them aren't doing any kind of marketing at all. They're just relying on, they have the whole if you build it, they will come mentality, right? And the thing with restaurant managers, business managers, stuff like that, people who are in charge of the marketing, lots of businesses don't have somebody in charge of the marketing. They have a manager that they've hired who they expect to do the marketing, but they're also busy running their ass off doing things for the business. So talking to those people, right? Talking to the decision makers, think about where their pain is. What is keeping them up at night? If you're talking to a business owner, if you're positioning yourself to talk to a business owner, what is keeping them up at night? Again, emotionally, what are they struggling with? What are they losing sleep over? What are they thinking if this business doesn't succeed, where are things going to go? What's going to happen? What's going to happen to my family, our house? What's going to happen there? And then another tip I had in here is how can you tie each of these topics to your agency, and how can you come up with a solution for each of the topics you're talking about? So when you're creating the content, tie that into a product or a service that you're offering or selling, or having an offer or a solution available so that when you talk to them, you can get more details about that out of them. Now, when you're creating content, I'm going to go into this AIDA framework, which I really, really like. It's a good framework for creating content. The 4 topics for AIDA are attention, interest, desire, action. So we want to grab somebody. This is very similar to our AIM method, actually, except we don't have the desire one in there, but that really is into the marketing monetize section, where we combine basic desire and action into the same system. So attention, are your restaurant owners struggling to fill empty seats, even on days when you should be busy? That's a great way to lead off a video. If you have a restaurant owner or manager that has empty seats and they're like, why aren't we busy? Or we need to be busy. We need to bring in more revenue. That's going to capture their attention, right?
I
And
think
then you go
also
into interest.
the other one that you wrote there too, like, would you trade a $5 plate of nachos for $5,997?
That would be a great attention. Hey, restaurant owners, would you trade a $5 plate of nachos for $5,995 in return?
Like all
You
day
know?
long you would, right? You could
Yeah,
make such fun
that's a no-brainer.
content.
That makes sense.
Like,
And then you
could
can go
make
into
such fun
interest.
content doing that. Like
Then
fun
you can go into
skills.
interest of being like, so with that one, you could be like, did you know that the lifetime value of most restaurant customers is $6,000? That means when you get a customer as a regular and they come back, multiple times a year over their lifetime as your customer, they're going to spend $6,000 on average with your restaurant. So what would you be willing to pay to get that customer through the door? What if you had 100 of those customers, new customers come in, in the next month? What would that look like for you, kind of thing? Yeah, that's where I love writing ad copy. I studied it so much. I just don't get used. I don't actually get as much use out of it.
We should just
as I used
make
to.
some like super funny like ads,
So-
honestly.
So
Okay.
interest for this one is most restaurants rely on word of mouth, daily specials, and the regulars to fill those seats. But if customers don't know you exist, where are those people go? Where are those people coming from? And where are those people and sales going to come from? Most restaurant owners and managers also don't realize they can easily fill those seats running simple promotions that won't degrade their brand, because that's like an objection that we've had from customers saying, hey, I don't want to run ads or give specials because it's going to degrade our brand. That was literally something somebody said to us, while bringing in new customers who are happy to share their experience with their friends. Now, then we go into desire. If you're looking for a way to fill in those slow days, boost daily sales, and get your staff excited about new customers coming through the door, action, click on the link below, tell us about your restaurant, and we'll set up a quick 15-minute call to see if what we're doing for restaurants is something that will help you. So that kind of talks about all of that. It's just a really great framework. You can use this for creating social media posts. You can use it for creating video scripts. You can use it for creating blog posts. I wrote this all over our website. I use this framework for creating content for websites as well. So if you have a service that a business is offering, you can use this framework to outline that service for those customers. So even if you had kitchen renovations, you can use this framework to write out all the page copy for kitchen renovations for a home renovations company, HVAC, whatever it is. So there's a lot of stuff you can do. I will put the webinar stuff. I'll make a note down here too and put webinar, our ideas and tips.
So I have a spreadsheet as well that I wouldn't mind sharing really quickly. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I'll also share that with you guys as a resource too.
Okay. I will stop sharing. I just want to, does this all make sense? Does it feel like something you guys can tackle, something you guys can do? Would you think it'd make an improvement on your marketing and your messaging when you're out talking to customers?
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. It's fun when you can follow an outline like that. I'm a very visual, like I find everybody learns differently and works differently, right?
Yeah.
I like to make, like, we will take a big piece of paper and just create different boxes for each category and then write our ideas down that way too. Like, feel free to, have some fun and do it however you're going to. I think it should try and have fun with it, right?
Well,
Do it
yeah,
however
there's
it's
something
gonna be
super
the best way
powerful
to
too
do it.
about writing stuff out by hand, right? There's just that
Yeah.
connection with your brain, that hand brain connection. When
Yeah,
you write
there
stuff out,
is.
like even when they talk about learning how to write copy, go find tons of the copy that you like to read, sales copy, sales letters, stuff like that, and don't type them back out, write them out by hand, right? Because you're going to ingrain that message in your brain a lot better. Definitely takes a lot more time, definitely takes a little bit of effort, but there's just something about that. And even when I'm writing out copy, lots of times I will write things out on a piece of paper first. And I think that comes from I like to do a lot of art as well, drawing, sketching, design, stuff like that. And a lot of design courses and art courses, they talk about just writing stuff out by hand first, because then you get more of a free flow. Like you're not tied to the end product. When you get onto a computer and you start typing things out, you're going for end product, right? You're going for the end. You have that in mind. Whereas if you're just brainstorming and writing stuff out on a piece of paper, you can scratch stuff out. You can change stuff. You know that that's not your end piece. So it just gives you mentally more freedom to be creative, come up with something new. You're not going for that final perfectly worded piece of copy yet. You're going for, what do I want to say? What's the emotion? What's the challenge here? And you know what? I do the same thing exactly for programming and coding. They call it pseudocode, which is the same thing, just basically writing things out by hand first before you even get into putting stuff on a computer.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen in case you guys don't have complete brain overload yet.
Just yet.
Just yet. Give me 4 minutes of your time.
And see what you can do.
So I'm gonna share my screen here. This is a framework that I learned, probably close to 10 years ago from somebody named Bushra. I don't remember what her last name is, Azra or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
She's brilliantly amazing at content. Now, this is a little bit more of I'm gonna say most likely a little bit more of a feminine spin on things for sure. It's kind of quirky and funny depending on your personality and what you want your brand personality to be like. It's just another really good framework to follow, though, is why me? Like, what about me? Like, I think it's important for you to be sharing during your attract phase content about you. Like, it's important for you, for there to be like a connection there. People want to do business with real people these days more than ever. And so
I think that's a really important, like even Dan Kennedy always said, start every video that you create introducing yourself, because you don't know who's watching and you don't know if they've seen you before, if they know who you are, right? So start every piece of video content that you create with who you are.
Right. But then, so I've taken it a step further here, and there's a ton of different posts that you can take and use and rewrite, obviously, change it up. But it's just lots of different ideas of things that you can be posting on your personal social media, on your business social media about the business, whatever. But people want to see behind the scenes. They want to see you. They want to connect with you. So these are some ideas about you. Why you? Okay. Why them? Why are they perfect for what you're offering? Okay. Why them? So here's again a bunch of different posts, like curious to know what'll make, insert what you offer 10 times easier and enjoyable. This, add a link to your offer. I've been, there's lots of blanks in here that you need to fill in, but if I didn't have a rinse and repeat system to help me get the results that I do, maybe you'd want to put, like, if you're working with restaurants, like if this restaurant didn't have this rinse and repeat system to help them get the results that they do, whatever, like just why them, right? Why should they be listening to this? Why should they be reading this? Why this or us versus the other thing? This is a really good one here, especially when we're talking about software in general, because most businesses, the majority of them, are already using some type of software. Okay. So if you are suggesting that they stop using certain software and start using high level, for example, or like start using our loyalty and reward system, even though Square does offer that. Why this, right? Versus this versus that. This versus that. Okay, that's what this column is here. You're doing it this way versus how it could be done. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Why now? This is where we create FOMO, like why right now? Why is now the time to make this change? Why is now the time to get going? Why is now the time to throw down that offer, right? Why no one else? Again, this is sort of like, this software versus this software, this versus this, like, asking people manually for reviews versus automating your reviews, right? This versus that. Why no one else is more about you and your agency and why they should choose you over another agency, right? Because let's be real, there's hundreds and thousands of people probably out there also targeting that same business. So why you? Okay. And then this is just a blank one here where you can put, any headlines or topics or anything like that you want. But I also like the way that this is laid out where you can actually schedule stuff. So you could go in and fill in the framework that Jason did. That would really help you come up with like your content ideas and what you're going to post about. But then maybe if you wanted to, you could jump in here and take a look at some of the copy that I've written. There's lots about like, this versus that. It's a lot of stats and stuff like that, right? But it's also, again, like poking holes in, Toast probably offers loyalty and rewards and all of that stuff. But is it a full marketing system? And are you actually using it? Right? Like those are the types of pieces of content that we want to create as well. So I can share that as well. How many times do I say as well, I wonder, in these calls? As well.
Yeah, it's a really good one. You know what? What was her name? Bushra. Yeah, she was. You don't see a whole lot of her anymore. She did tons, and maybe we just don't see her popping up as much as
I
she
feel
used
like she's slowed it down. She was like one of my OG, one of the first programs I purchased.
And she is,
from her.
yeah, she's known for coming up with really creative, quirky content and not trying to be very formal. And you know what? Yeah, so I want to, that's one thing that I should put in this doc too, is be casual. Be casual when you're writing content or rating content or creating videos or anything. Just be casual, right? Talk to, in your videos, write how you would talk to somebody, right? Just write how, if you're having a conversation with a friend, just how would that, what would that look like?
Yeah.
How would you say
Read
that?
it out loud. Read it
Yeah.
out loud is another really good tip. Like you can write something and then when you actually read it out loud, a lot of times that's where changes come into play because it's like, it just it doesn't ring right. And also, could you tell your neighbor or your like 10-year-old kid or niece or nephew, and would they understand what you're saying as well, right? Like there's no need to speak at such a high technical level.
No, and really, you just want to keep it very casual. I mean, and as far as we're talking about copywriting and content and stuff like that, is really what you were shooting for is like a 5th grade level of reading and understanding and using those type of words rather than using anything bigger, whatever.
And it can be fun to take that stuff and plug it. That's what I actually use Chat GPT for the most. Is I'll write something and then I'm slowly training my Chat GPT. Are you guys doing this? We haven't really ever talked about it.
Not too much.
I'll say like, this is who I'm serving. Like, this is who I'm talking to. This is their total like persona, avatar, whatever. Can you write this piece of copy in 5 different ways that is fun? You know, that is kind of funny, that is a little bit quirky, that is, you know, sarcastic, whatever. And then it'll hit you back with so many fun ways to say things. It's fun to translate Louisiana Southern drawl and dialect into copy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And, you know, I like to play around with different fonts and different things like that. If you're doing emails, whatever, everything.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Okay. So I will load these resources into our members area. Hopefully you guys have all gotten access to it. I've got my eyes peeled on there. We're going to chat tomorrow about some of the prizes that we're going to give away this week. There will be points for completing any of the stuff inside of there, for commenting along, for posting in the group. Yeah, and you know what? We can actually just do a separate call all around Chat GPT. But I mean, that's mine. It seems like it just, yeah, it knows what I'm doing now. Like I feel like it is trained. Is it, Jason?
I haven't been in your Chat GPT, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I've got the
It's-
4 version. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Any other comments? Anything else before we jump off? No. Do 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 do. Okay.
All right, that was
I
your
get really antsy.
yeah, all right.
Thank you for
Yeah,
being here,
thank
you
you
guys.
guys.
Look at like it's not too many people are dropping off. Everybody is still staying on task. Go and write out some of your content, create your content plan and take a picture of it and post it in the group. I want to see. It would be amazing for you to share that with us. And we will see you guys tomorrow at 12.
All right.
Okay.
All right, I'll update that thing with some webinar ideas and tips and put them in the doc there too. Cool. All
Bye,
right.
guys.
See you guys. See you guys in day 4.